Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome all you Dentrix super users from all over the country tonight. We're coming to you live from Longmont, Colorado. And tonight we are going to be talking about the top 10 Dentrix hacks. These are those super secret menu items that nobody knows about except you. And so I'm going to talk about my favorite top 10. If we have people in the audience and we have time later at the end of our show today, maybe some of our friends that are online with us can share some of their favorite hacks. I usually learn all of these tips and tricks from being in offices, you know, with you, and it's so fun to learn something that's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then I show it to someone else and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And so I thought it would be fun to end the year 2021, end the year with some fun, with some great tips and tricks. And I'm super excited to share this evening with all of you. And so let's get started, huh? I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off until I come back on and do some prize giveaways. But that way my face isn't taking up too much of your screen space. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off for the time being, but I'll come right back in with you in just a little bit. All right. So I want to make sure that I am answering everybody's questions. It seems like we've got some hands raised and we have some questions already. So let me just double check here. All right. I think we are good to go. All right. So I'm going to switch over to my Dentrix software where we're going to start. So I'm going to start off just by letting you all know that I upgraded my software a couple days ago. I am currently on G7.5 update 4. And so just so you all know, I work with a tutor database. I don't have an enormous amount of data like you do. So a lot of times when I run reports, I don't get as much data as you guys do because you all work in busy practices. So every time I update my software, it resets my tutor database. And so sometimes I don't know how it's going to act. So just kind of have lots of patience with me since I just upgraded my software a couple days ago. But I was testing it out yesterday and today, so we should be good to go. All right, so our first hack of the night is, this comes from one of my good friends at Fortune Management. I was working in a practice recently, and my good friend Katie, she works at a consulting company, and she goes, Dana, she goes, I really need to be able to print or view the last page of a report. And I'm like, guess what? We can do that. And so I thought to myself, this is a really good hack because I get this request all the time. And so, you know, when you run those super long reports, like anybody out there use the utilization report for dental insurance? Any hand raisers up there? Anybody use that utilization report for dental insurance? I love this report when you're using fee schedules because you can see, you know, the difference between your full fee and your contracted fee. But this utilization report can sometimes be like 200 pages long. And sometimes all I need is the last page. Or maybe you're printing some kind of a year-end production report or something, and it's like 50 pages long, and all you need is the last page. Well, let me show you how to do it. So when you go to generate a report, just put it on your batch processor and view the report. So all you have to do is view the report first. And then what you'll notice is, like, this report is 10 pages long. Now, in your practice, it might be 200 pages long. And if you only want to see the last page of a report, go up to File and click Print. And then down here in your page range, right here, in your page range, just enter the last page. All right? So I'm going to go from page 10 through page 10 and click OK. Now, you can either send it to your printer, or if you want to just view it, send it to your Dentrix Document Center. All right? So just print to your Dentrix Document Center, click OK. And it's going to just give you, I'm going to go view it in my Document Center. And I could just pull up any provider. I'm just going to use this one. And it's going to be sitting in my unfiled documents, of course, because you know when you use that Send to Dentrix Document Center, it sits in your unfiled document center. And look at that. I've got this, the last page of my report, page number 10. So, and it might be page number 200. So that's pretty cool, huh? High fives on that one. That's my first Dentrix hack, brought to you by my good friend Katie at Fortune Management. All right, lots of hands up on that one. Yes. All right, let's go to hack number 2. Hack number 2. Oh, I like this one. Look up new and modified CDT codes. Okay, since we're coming up on 2022, we know that we're going to have a lot of new and updated CDT codes. I believe my software just updated, so let me double check. But what I think is really cool about this, if you go to your, go to the Office Manager, go to Maintenance, Practice Setup, and then go to Procedure Code Setup right here. And I don't know if any of you have ever noticed this little button right here. Have you ever noticed this little button right here that says What's New? Yeah? Have you ever clicked on it? Watch. Okay, so it shows us all what the new CDT codes are. Now, that's not as cool as I'm going to show you, because if you click on, say, Diagnostic, it's everything in green is going to be new. See all these new codes? Everything in yellow is edited for the next year. So anything in green is new. So, you know, you don't really need a CDT book if you don't want, because this little handy tool will show you in highlighted in green all the new codes. Pretty cool, huh? A little Dentrix hack for you. And then the yellow ones are edited. And then it tells you in the notes what it was replaced with, what it was changed to, replaced by 2952. Isn't that cool? I love that. All right, that was hack number 2. Now remember, you're all going to get my tip sheet on all these hacks. So we're just going to go through them tonight, but you'll also get a tip sheet and you'll get the recording of all of these great hacks as well. All right, hack number 3. You ready? Batch payments. Enter batch payments. Now, many of you may know what this does, but I was working with a practice and she was posting like all this weekend mail. Like she had a stack of checks. And I said, have you ever used this batch payment, enter batch payment feature? And she's like, no, I didn't even know it was there. And the reason I really like it is that you can, you know, enter a payment and then it keeps totaling up the totals for you. So if you have a big stack of checks, and you want to make sure that you're balancing, then, you know, you can just go through and start to make these payments, and then it keeps the total for you. And see how it keeps the batch total up here in the upper right corner. So, you know, this is especially be nice on a Monday when you get in from the weekend and you've got a big stack of money from the weekend mail, and you can just keep making all these payments. And then as soon as you hit close, then it's going to post all those payments to the patient ledgers. So I thought that was pretty cool. Not everybody knows about that hack, and so I thought I would share it with all of you tonight. Our next hack number 4 is, oh, this is a good one. I say that every time, don't I? Create an insurance company exceptions table without recreating the wheel, okay? This is only available if you are on Dentrix version G7.4 or above. So let me show you what I'm talking about. For those of you that are on G7.4 or higher, here in the benefits and coverage table area, so we're going to go in here, and so inside of the benefits and coverage table, you will find an exceptions table right here. Now, if you have this Dentrix version and you've gone into this exceptions table, you might notice that it could be a little overwhelming, okay? So this exceptions table is where you can add those like sealants are only covered up to the age of 14 on permanent molars only. Or maybe this plan only covers crown, only covers PFM crowns, and they don't cover porcelain crowns. You know, so those really weird things, those downgrades, those waiting periods. And so my hack is not necessarily the exceptions table. My hack for you is create an insurance company, because you can copy the exceptions table from another plan. So what I did is I went in and I created an insurance company called exceptions table, and it's for internal use only. And you can see there that I just put a little note there, internal use only. So I can create like an exceptions table, and then I can copy it into my other insurance plans. So then I don't have to go in and recreate all these common exceptions, like perio maintenance might be covered like as a pro fee. All porcelain crowns might be downgraded to a PFM. And so all these common exceptions, I can create an insurance plan and have the exceptions kind of all listed, and then I can copy that exceptions table into any insurance plan that I want, which I think is an awesome hack, and I wanted to share that with all of you. Yeah, I could definitely show you how to get here again for sure. Let's see. Let me close this. Let me save this and close. Save, yes, and I'll close that out. So where I get that is in the insurance plan information. So if I am on the family file and I double click in the insurance and I click on benefits and coverage right here, and then this exceptions table right here. So this is fairly new. This came about in Dentrix G 7.4 or higher. And so if you have this version and you want to start filling in this exceptions table, what I would recommend is creating an insurance plan called exceptions table, and then you can copy it. So I just created an insurance plan called exceptions table, and I copied the exceptions table into any plan that I want. because it's a lot easier to delete. It's a lot easier to delete than it is to add, okay? All right, let's see. I thought we would have questions on this one. Lots of questions. Let's see. I've got, let's see. So do you have to transfer the entire exceptions table, or can you select certain items? You do have to transfer over the entire exceptions table, but Debbie, it's a lot easier to delete items that you don't need than it is to add more than more. So it's a lot easier to delete. And then Lisa asks, so when we can calculate treatment plans, the corrected downgrade amount with the extra copay from comp would appear in the treatment planner. Lisa, the answer is yes in the future. So it is coming. Right now, this exceptions table in G7.4 or higher is for informational purposes only. But in G7. I want to say 7.6, I think it will be included in the calculation. How did you do the actual copy? Oh, great question. So how I actually did the copy is, let me go into a insurance plan that is a fresh one. Let me bring up a different patient. So if you open up the insurance, click on benefits and coverage, go to exceptions table, click on the little blue arrow over here on the, here I'll put a big circle around it right here. Click on the little blue arrow, copy from, and I am finding my exceptions table insurance plan right here. And then I click OK, and I say, yes, I want to copy it. And then it brings it into my exceptions table for this plan. And then it's a lot easier to delete. So if I say, like, if this plan does not downgrade perio maintenance, I can just delete that out of here. It's a lot easier to delete line items than it is to recreate the wheel. All right, I knew that one would grab a lot of attention and a lot of questions. Let's see. Okay, there's a few people that have said they can't figure out how to do the questions tab. Let's see. So it looks like, I don't know, Danielle has a question. Danielle, just raise your hand again if you have a question that you want me to answer. I just want to make sure that maybe your hand wasn't raised from earlier. All right. Oh yeah, she does have a question. Let's see. All right, can you type it in the questions tab? Or not? Okay. All right, I'm going to move on, and then Danielle, if we have time at the end, I'll come back to you at the end. But remember your question. All right, I am going to then keep on our insurance topic here, and I am going to, how many of you in the audience have insurance plans with incentive levels? I know my friends in Washington State do, because all the school districts have incentive levels. Yeah, I know Oregon does too. Yep. All right, so most of you, right? And how many of you struggle with how to link up the correct incentive level to the patient? Yeah? You have trouble with that as well? All right, I'm going to show you how to do incentive levels, incentive plans. So I'm going to pull up a family. Let's find a family in here. How about On a family with lots of patients. How about the Valgardson? The Valgardson family, you know. So let's say we have a family here. We've got, let's find a family with kids. Oh, let's see. How about the Reeves? Let's see. We've got Joshua, Elizabeth, Meredith, and Marin. All right, we've got a family of 4 with 2 kids. Perfect. Let's say Joshua, I'm going to clear out this insurance just so we can start fresh here. I'm going to show you how to do the incentives. All right. So we've got, let's say Joshua is a school teacher. And Joshua is at 100%, but Elizabeth, the wife, is at 90, and the 2 kids are at 80%. All right? So what we're going to start with is we're going to go to Joshua. We're going to go to our insurance plan, search for our school district plan. And the kids are at 80. So I'm going to grab my 80% incentive level. And I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to attach it to the kids. 80%. I'm going to attach to the kids. All right. Kids are on 80%. All right. Mom, Elizabeth, is at 90. Okay. So I'm going to go to Joshua, back to the subscriber. I'm going to go back into the insurance. I'm going to click on the subscriber arrow. This is really important. So everybody watching, all right, I see a few cautions where people are not attentive. So keep your eye on here. So we're going to click into this little arrow here. And I'm going to click on current patient. All right. See this little button here that says current patient? I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to select the 90% level. Let's see, 90%. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click on Mom, Elizabeth, the mom. And I'm going to click into the subscriber. Now look, I've got 2 plans to choose from. I got 80% and 90%. Mom's at 90, so I'm going to grab the 90. I'm going to click OK. And now Joshua, the dad, he's at 100%. All right. I'm going to double click into the insurance again. I'm going to click on the subscriber. And again, I'm going to click on current patient. Current patient, Joshua is at 100%. All right, he's at 100, and I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click OK. All right. Whew! Did you catch all that? All right, we've got Joshua, the dad's at 100. I go into Elizabeth, the mom's at 90. You see that? And then I've got the kids. Meredith is at 80, and Marin is at 80 as well. Cool? Raise your hand if you got all that. Awesome. You guys rock. All right. Now, when you get the tip sheet from me, I did a quick little YouTube video on this as well. And so you can go straight to that quick YouTube video and rewatch it again and again and again until you master this technique. You know, the biggest trick here is using this current patient button right there. So then you get 3 plans that are all linked up to the subscriber, and then for each patient you can select which one is appropriate for each patient. All right, high five, guys. You guys are awesome. Okay, I'm sticking with my insurance theme again. For my hack number 6, we're going to go to the ledger though. And we're going to go up here to File. So follow along, File. We're going to go here to Insurance Payment Setup. And there's some check boxes down here that I think are really cool. These check boxes down here. All right. Now what these do is, the first checkbox is auto create a secondary claim as soon as you post a primary payment. So you don't even have to ask it to do that, it just does it for you. The second checkbox is it can auto receive the secondary claim if there's no pending insurance for the secondary. How about that, huh? Cool. And then the third one is if you are a out-of-network provider, say, you know, for all of you fee-for-service, out-of-network practices out there in the audience, if you do not accept assignment of benefits, you can check this box so it will prompt you to close claims without assignment of benefits. So as soon as those claims get sent out, then it can prompt you to close that claim. So then you've sent the claim, now it's going to prompt you to close it because you do not accept assignment of benefits. All right, that's a pretty good hack if you have to do all those things manually. I've gone into a lot of practices where they've got a lot of open claims on their insurance aging report, and some of them just really don't need to be there because they're either secondary that's not going to pay anything anyway, or it's a insurance plan that pays the patient. You know, so if you're out of network with Delta Dental, you know that they're going to send the payment to the patient. So you can get prompted to close those claims. And those federal plans, I think, all pay the patient as well. So it's good to get those claims closed out if you're not going to be accepting any payments on those claims. All right, that was hack number 6. Hack number 7. It is, for those of you, so for those of you that have worked with me before, or you know how much I love to talk about billing statements, because I hear about so many offices that are still doing statements, you know, monthly, or offices that are still printing statements. It's like, oh my gosh, people, eliminate the paper. And so I really love this feature because this came about in also G7.4 or higher. It came about when QuickBill started doing email statements. And if you are not doing QuickBill or you are not doing email statements, please reach out to me. Send me a text, send me an email. Please schedule a call with me so we can talk about how amazing QuickBill and email statements can be for your practice. I was working in a practice probably just over a month ago. I had my 30-day call with them this week, and I was in this practice back in New Jersey about a little over a month ago, and we started doing email statements while I was there. And so we sent out a submission of email statements, and as soon as we sent the email statements, we watched the statuses of those statements change from sent to viewed to opened to paid within like 5 minutes. It was the most amazing thing ever. But the hack that I want to show you is this little button, this little icon here. on your ledger toolbar, right there, and it is the submission history. So if I click on this little, I can't send email statements because I can't do e-services with the tutor database, but when you send statements either through QuickBill and they print them for you, or you're using the email statement, then what you will find in this list here is, so you'll see all the statements that you've sent out, you know, the guarantor, the date that it was sent, what was the total amount billed, and then you'll get the mail status, like was it actually sent, and then this is my favorite one right here, this email status. So this is what we did in that practice I was in about a month ago. We sent out this batch of statements and we watched this email status change from like sent to viewed to opened to paid, and it was just so cool because we got paid on some statements in like 5 minutes. And so just the most awesome thing. The other cool thing about the statement viewer here is that when I select a patient, then over here it's going to give me a screenshot of what that statement looked like that went out to the patient. So you don't have to go to the document center anymore to look and see what that statement looked like. You'll get a preview of it right there on this submission history. So that is this is probably one of my favorite hacks because, well, it is fairly new, so most people don't know about it. But then QuickBill is probably my favorite e-service in Dentrix. If you're not using QuickBill already, then you need to reach out to me because we need to get you on QuickBill as soon as possible. All right, that was hack number 7. All right, and number 8 is, still on the insurance theme, but we're going to switch over to the patient chart, okay? So did you know that you can view the insurance benefits from the patient chart? Yes, raise your hand if you already knew that. Yeah. Most people don't know this, so this is why I have it as a hack. So here on this tab right here, if you click on that insurance case amount, you can view the primary insurance benefits. So you can see any insurance notes, you can pull up the coverage table, you can look at the deductible, you can see if there's any exceptions, insurance notes. The reason I bring this up is because a lot of times our clinical team, like our hygienists, are asking our front desk, like, is fluoride covered? Is the tennis patient come in for bite wings? You know, and so it can help and save a lot of time for your hygienist and your clinical team to look, because they live in the patient chart. So this really helps the clinical team look up some basic insurance information without having to go up and ask the front desk. So I think that's a great hack for the clinical team, and I wanted to throw that in there. All right, staying on our chart theme, I was also working in a practice recently, and how many of you have maybe have a orthodontist that comes in the practice? Are you a pedo practice that maybe has an ortho specialist that comes in? Anybody have any specialists that come in? So I've worked with a lot of doctors, and what doctors really want to see a lot of is the notes, like the clinical notes. I'm just going to pull up my friend here, Brent Crosby. He's got a lot of information. So a lot of times, the doctors want to see all this clinical notes and everything. And so I was working in this practice once, and she was an orthodontist, and she said, I don't care about the tooth chart. Okay. I don't need to see the tooth chart because I'm an orthodontist. All I need to see are the notes. And I said, okay, we can make that happen. And so we kind of started fiddling around with the chart. And so did you know that you can grab and you can reset the panels and stuff? Did you guys know that you can reset the panels and kind of move them around wherever you want? And did you also know that once you get the view set to where you want it to be, did you know that you could save it? Okay. And so I was working with this orthodontist, and I'm like, okay, you don't need to see the tooth chart, but you really want to see all the notes. So we got it all set up the way she wanted it. And then we went up to options, or view, and went to chart layout, and then we saved the current layout. And I just saved it as ortho. And so her view looked a lot like this. So we took out the tooth chart, we moved it all the way to the bottom. We made the chart notes really big so you could just scroll through them and look at all the history. And then we've got the buttons over here on the right, and we've got the codes at the bottom, and then we have the treatment plan panel over on the left. So I think that's a pretty cool hack, that you can create your own chart view, and you can go up to view, and you can go to chart layout and save your layout. Just give it a name. I've got Dana's view and chart view and ortho view. So you can save your view to whatever you want it to be. How'd you get the treatment plan on the left? And is this a PC, or if I change the layout of mine, does it change? No, it's workstation specific. So this is just for your workstation, which is cool because, you know, if you go into, say you go into a different room and you want it to look fairly normal, you can just click on, you know, one of these default views. So these are like the default views up here. You could just click on the default view, you know, and kind of bring everything back to normal. But then if you're like, okay, well, I'm going to work in this room all day today, and I want my own view, so I'm going to go up to view and the chart layout, and I can say, okay, I want Dana's view, or I really like that ortho view, I'm going to change it. And then if you want to change it back to normal, you can just click on the one of the default views, and everything will go back to normal. So it's workstation specific, so it won't change everybody's in the whole office. I know, it's fantastic, isn't it? I know, I love it. Question from Katie. Hi, Katie. In the chart notes, is there any way we are able to color code the clinical notes by provider? So Katie, that is in development right now. So I will kind of keep you abreast of when that's going to be released. But it is in development right now. Because I know, you know, when we used to have paper charts, the hygienists used to write in purple and the doctors used to write in blue, and I get it, totally get it. And so yes, it is in development. It's not available yet. How do you change the provider in that screen? Ours always comes up as DDS1. Are you talking about the when you write a clinical note? Like if you go to do a new clinical note, are you talking about how it always defaults to DDS1? Is that your question? Yes. It's always going to pull the patient's primary provider. There's no way around that. So you can always change your provider here, and you could pick a different provider, and then that note will be slated with that provider. But it's always going to default to the patient's primary provider, but you can always change the provider. Great questions, though. All right. I love this view because I can just scroll through all the completed work and all the clinical notes all at the same time. It changes it just for that specific note. It doesn't change it for the whole day. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Sorry. All right. Our last hack, and then we'll do one more prize giveaway. Our last hack, I'm going to stay here in the chart because our last hack, you can use this hack on any Dentrix module except the appointment book. So if you click on the F2 key on your keyboard, F2 is always going to bring you to select patient. So if you click the F2 on your keyboard, it will pull up your select patient screen, so you can pick a different patient if you wanted to change patients, you know, to a different patient chart or a different family file. So if you are in the patient chart, you hit F2, and you wanted to go to your all-star receiver for the Seattle Seahawks, DK Metcalf, and you wanted to switch over to his chart, all you have to do is hit F2 and you can change your patient. And the F2 hack, that works on any Dentrix module. So you can hit F2 on your family file, pull up a different patient, and so that is my hack number 10.